Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3547. Today's date is August 20, 2025. It has been almost like a morning at 10:14 a.m. Okay, usually I'm record Artifact more early as possible. Like basically, is this usually I record morning at 8 or maybe 8:30 or 8 a.m. Okay, yeah, but right now I'm actually recording at 10 a.m. Is because of that ki last night I slept very late. I slept at 3:30 a.m. and then I wake up at 8:30 a.m. So probably I sleep almost like a 5 hour, which is like a very less sleep. Then after that I ate my breakfast. Okay, and then after that what is actually reason why I'm kind of like a sleep so late is because of that okay, I was actually installing the game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. um Obviously I am kind of like a downloading this game as a crack version, okay, which is actually 120 GB I downloaded, and it took almost like a 4 hour to install. 4 hour, yeah, legit 4 hour. But this is just a 4 hour to install. There is multiple attempts that I tried and it went failure. Okay, so basically is this thing that ki I spent almost like a maybe 6 to 7 hour to install this game, and like basically 4 hour to install this game, but rest of the hour is kind of like a count as a mistake. Okay, yeah, like mistake means like that ki there is a screen on time is actually kind of like a something like my laptop went hibernate after the 15 minutes. So I didn't really knew that. I thought that ki if I kind of like put the installation on the put the installation running and I will kind of like go somewhere else, then it might gonna do automatically. But my laptop went to the hibernate mode and then everything is just gone. So whatever. But last night at almost like a 2 a.m. I installed this game, and then I opened this game. The entire game is in Arabic language, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Okay, yeah. And also another thing is that the setup file is 120 GB, and after the extraction, after the installing, it went almost like a 204 GB. 204 GB, and right now my hard disk is corrupted. I have only 512 GB of SSD, which is kind of like a running operating system and other softwares. And if I kind of like invest 204 GB, almost 200 GB on game, I don't really think that it's kind of like a something. Yeah. So I uninstalled that, delete that. Like I always have kind of like admire to play this game like since the beginning, since its launch. But usually I didn't really get chance. Like I have multiple games that I wanted to play, like basically is this thing Spider-Man 2, then Ghost of Tsushima, then Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Vanguard, uh, then Assassin's Creed new series. And yeah, these are kind of like a couple of games that I wanted to play. But probably I think that my laptop would be not that, like basically my laptop has almost like a 20 3050 graphics card, 3050 4 GB of graphics card, Nvidia 3050 4 GB of graphics card, which can handle enough kind of like a simply game. But probably is this thing that ki my graphics card is really good, but my laptop is really not that, because I usually laptop use a lot. Okay, yeah, sometimes it kind of like use for 15 to 20 hours. So probably I need a kind of like a give them rest. Okay, because while I was using Photoshop, Premiere Pro and everything, I realized that my laptop is kind of like assembly burning so much hot. Whatever, okay, laptop is not kind of like assembly damaged, it's really good thing by the way. but still I kind of like don't want to kind of like simply play such a heavy game so that it would kind of like affect my laptop. No, nothing really at all. And by the way, I realize every possible way that what kind of like simply advantage that I will get if I play this game, and I didn't really seen any of those. Okay, yeah, because like it not only consume my time, but basically is this thing that it kind of like divert my focus, and it's not really good. I'm not saying that playing game is not really good. No, playing game is really good, it's really great, but I'm kind of like a quite and busy and things like that. So I wanted to play such a game which is I don't have to put that much effort to play. Okay, and that game is a Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon is a kind of like a something game that you just kind of like a look and play. You don't have to be kind of like a listen and things like that. So basically when I was kind of like a like a doing any lecture or things like that, in that particular moment I might gonna play this particular game, and which kind of like a something that key add some sort of value and as well as play. So basically yes, and also I like racing games. Okay, yeah, but Forza Horizon 5 is a kind of like only one of the special game that I just can't yeah, like basically before that there is a Most Wanted 2, and there is a before that Most Wanted 1. Like basically racing game is always been really favorite to me, but Forza Horizon is a kind of like it's a very special place. But regarding about games now, I might gonna say that there are multiple games are really amazing. Okay, RDR2 is one of the such an amazing game that I just fell in love. Okay, yeah, obviously that game is also really heavy. Okay, yeah, this game is also almost like a 150 GB. Okay, which is like yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. Right now I don't really have that much proper hardware to play that game. I think when I will gonna buy kind of like a simply one game station, then I might gonna kind of like a simply play those games. But till now I just have to be, I don't know. Yeah, till now I just have to play Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon is a kind of like a only very comfort game. I can play. I can kind of like some places in that game. Like usually why I play the game. Okay, yeah. I play the game is because of that. While I was doing kind of like a design and things like that, sometime I felt so boring. Okay, literally sometimes, and I can't even do any. I can't even function myself properly. So in that particular situation I just kind of like play the game so that I would kind of like keep myself alive and things like that. And Forza Horizon is that particular game, so probably this would be really good. All right, so this is about the game. All right, yeah. So should we directly jump into the question? All right, yeah, let's go. Let's drive into jump into the question. All right, yeah. All right, question is, when I make financial mistake, I feel okay. What's a financial mistake? Financial mistake means like that. Um, a mistake regarding about money, probably, right? Okay. Financial mistake. What I kind of like consider. What is actually financial mistake? I think that financial mistake means like that. Like the money that you spend, and and then you regret. I think that is called financial mistake. So did I ever kind of like spend some sort of amount of money and then I regret about that? Yeah, so many times, so many times. Okay, yeah. One of the biggest financial mistake is actually happened in my life in 2020, 2021. Yeah, 2021. It actually scam happened. So what exactly happened that in 2021 I decided to do a YouTube. Okay, and basically I don't have any camera. Okay, so I wanted to shoot some sort of kind of like a something video and hyperlapse and things like that. Hyperlapse is a kind of like a something the photo taking process. You just have to take the photo and things like that. Okay, if you don't know what is actually hyperlapse, you just Google it, you just search it, you will, yeah. Hyperlapse is a really good technique. Okay, but you have to be very patient and you have to be very kind of like a something very focused regarding about work that you do. So I wanted to shoot the hyperlapse. Okay. Now problem is that in the hyperlapse you have to take at least like a 300 to 400 photos of same object. Yeah, 300 to 400 photos with the same object with a little bit different. Like basically what exactly happened that key, let's just say Taj Mahal. Okay, yeah. So basically what I do is that I went kind of like a left side of Taj Mahal and I took the photo of Taj Mahal. Okay, yeah. Then I kind of like a step little bit right, then take another photo, little bit right, then take another photo, little bit right, then take another photo. So I have to do this process for almost like a 300 400 times. Okay, yeah. And when I collide all those photos in Premiere Pro and kind of like a simply add put the kind of like a warp stabilizer, it kind of like a gives you very smooth motion with a kind of like a very fast moving pace, which is feel really good. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to shoot that hyperlapse video. The problem is that in the hyperlapse you have to make sure that the center of the frame should supposed to be remain same in rest of the 300 photos. What do you mean by that? Like basically there is a center of the frame, like basically the photo that you take. Okay, yeah. So there is a photo and there is a center. So you have to make sure that the center of the photo should supposed to be kind of like a something fixed position for rest of the 300 photos, 300 400 photos. So so if I wanted to take this photo with mobile phone, it is kind of like a very not possible because at that time I was using Redmi 5 Pro mobile phone, and it doesn't really have that feature that it kind of like a pointed the center of the frame and things like that. It doesn't really have, and basically when it has it, but when I try to take the photos, the visibility is so low because like basically the screen brightness is really not that high enough for kind of like a something the brightness of things or something like that. So basically I'm not actually properly taking the photos from the mobile phone. Okay, yeah. So I kind of like a somebody called my friend named Pratik. Okay, Pratik has a camera, and I kind of like a somebody say that can you give me your camera? He gave me camera and kind of like a somebody I tried to took the photos. Okay, yeah. And when I took the photos, the process became so much easier because right now I am not looking at kind of like a some sort of screen. I'm looking at from the viewpoint, like basically in the camera there is a viewpoint, you just have to look it, and in that particular there is a kind of like a center of the frame, there is a kind of like a particular focus point over there. You just have to align that focus point into the object and kind of like a take the photo, snap the photo. Okay, and you have to do this. So basically is this thing, when I take the hyperlapse from the mobile phone, it kind of like a something very not only the unprofessional but as also very like the photos is not way that it should supposed to. Means what exactly happened that the setting of the photos in the mobile phone is always changed, like basically sometime aperture change, sometime ISO change, sometimes kind of like a simply another change, like basically if I took the one photo is properly lit, another photo is little bit brighten up, another photo is little bit bright down and things like that, which is kind of like a simply inconsistentness, yeah, while taking the photos in mobile phone. Camera is a kind of like a simply one another example where kind of like all the settings are kind of like a simply fix. Okay, yeah. And if you kind of like a set the setting, then basically that setting will kind of like a continue for how many photos that you took. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of like a simply give me advantage. So I was kind of like a taking a photos from that camera. Okay, yeah. And I took photos of almost like a 300 400 photos of like I went to kind of like a something like place in my city. Okay, and I took the photos. Okay, yeah. And basically when I open all those photos in Premiere Pro and kind of like I put the warp stabilizer, it looks so good, like basically just like it's wow. Okay, so so this is really good, this is really great. I know the process is really time consuming and things and that, but end result is really beautiful and I really love that process. So but basically is this thing, and I wanted to take more and more hyperlapse, but probably is this thing that this camera is not mine, and basically it's just my friend's camera, and probably is this thing that like basically if I wanted to like I wanted to take multiple hyperlapse of multiple objects and things, and that so that means for each 30-second video I have to be spent at least like a entire day for like a shooting and things, and that just for 30-second video. So it was kind of like a something very hectic and things like that. So um and I will not gonna ask my friend every time to kind of like give me your camera and things like that. So it's not really, yeah. So I thought that I have to buy my own camera. So if I wanted to buy my own camera, then probably it's not even considerable, because the camera prices are like super expensive. Yeah. Then I decided that let's buy kind of like a simply rent camera, or rent, not just kind of like a second hand camera. Okay, so I went to OLX. Okay, yeah. And there is a guy named Manjit. Okay, yeah. And basically he's an army officer. Okay, yeah. And he is kind of like selling his camera, Canon something, I don't know, like a Canon camera. Okay, I'm not really sure what is actually the model name. Okay, yeah. So he was actually kind of like selling this camera in 17,000 rupees. By the way, the original price of this camera is almost like a 50,000 rupees. Okay, yeah, which actually launched in 2017, maybe, whatever. Okay, so basically I called him, says that I bought this camera in 2017. I didn't really use this camera that much. Like I just use it for like just for common purposes, and that's it. And then rest of the time that camera is actually in my bag, and I didn't really open it and things like that. So if you wanted to buy, you can buy. And that is really good. Yeah, 17,000 rupees is kind of like I had enough, because at that time I was have some certain amount of money from my office, because like I have some sort of saving. So basically, like I wanted to buy that camera. So okay. So basically is this thing that he says that okay, I'm not living in your city. He's saying that like basically is this thing, he will gonna deliver it to you. Okay, yeah, the camera. I says, yeah, that is even better. Okay, yeah. But he wanted to make sure that you are kind of like only buying this camera. Like basically, like what if happened that I send this camera and you don't really buy it, and you just have to took the camera and things like that, then it kind of like a something, I need kind of like a something assurity that you are actually buying this thing. So he mentioned that give me half of the price. Like basically half of the price, that is okay. So probably means like that I don't know, like basically half, like he was kind of like asking couple of thousand rupees. So I gave him kind of like a some one or two, or maybe I don't know, some sort of amount of money. Okay, yeah. And basically he gonna say within a 2 days that camera will gonna arrive. Okay, yeah. So basically that day come, and basically camera didn't really reach, and I called him, says that the camera is actually reach at your city, but they are wanted to make sure, so you have to pay upfront amount of money. Upfront means like that entire amount of money, like 17,000 rupees. So basically is this thing that, yeah, sure, like basically the camera is actually arrive, and camera actually arrive in my city. I didn't really see the camera, but basically is this thing that he will only dispatch that camera when he actually get like that delivery guy get kind of like an entire full amount of money. So basically, yeah, like basically is this thing that the camera is actually arrived now. So I gave him 17,000 rupees, like rest of the money, like basically I gave almost like a 2-3,000 rupees at the beginning, and then rest of the money means 15,000 rupees I gave it rest. Okay, yeah. Like right now I actually gave entire 70,000 rupees when I didn't really seen the camera. Okay, yeah. Now what exactly happened that camera didn't reach, and I was like really furious. What the fuck, like I paid full amount of money, and I didn't really get the camera. And I called him, and he gonna says that sir, the like basically the money that you spend is kind of like a only insurance money. You have to be pay again 70,000 rupees for the camera, and when the camera will kind of like a delivered to you, the rest of the money means like that the extra money that you already gave it, that kind of like a return you back. It's kind of like a only insurance amount of money. Like what the fuck is this thing? Like I don't know, like I need a camera. Okay, like at that time now, like when I was kind of like saying this thing, I realized that how fucked up I was. But at that time I was like really influenced by this thing, this guy, and the way that person talk, it's like, yeah. like I wanted to make sure that person is really genuine. So I asked him that send me every document. He's sending me kind of like Aadhaar card, PAN card, every voting document, like every data and things like that. Also my call recording is also kind of like somebody on and things like that. So I kind of like somebody realized that ki, yeah, this guy might be really genuine, as also this guy is really army officer. So probably the army officer is kind of like a only very trustable person. So I thought that ki, yeah, let's go, let's, yeah. So I sent him again. Okay, so 17 into 17, like no sorry, I paid 17,000 rupees, and then I again for insurance money I paid 10,000 rupees. Okay, yeah. So up until this now, I spent almost like a 27,000 rupees to that guy that I haven't really seen the camera. Okay, and then I realized that this guy is really fucked up. He scammed me. Yeah, I called him. He kind of like a somebody like a shut down his phone. He didn't really pick up my phone, and then after that the phone is turned off, and I realized that dude, I get scammed. I get scammed. Like basically, I called that delivery guy. He is also, that number is also gone. I was like, what the fuck is this thing? When this thing happened, I was like so much devastated that I don't know how I supposed to face it. Like it is that like when someone is actually scam you na, it's like it felt really really wrong. Like really 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 legit wrong. Why the scams feels really really, really wrong is because of that ki someone is actually kind of like a something like prove you that ki you are fucked up person. Okay, yeah, like you know you are fucked up person, but basically is this thing na ki because of your fucked up thing and you lost 27,000 rupees and someone is actually scam you, it just feels like that failure, not only the failure but kind of like a something that ki the the kind of like a somebody other people will gonna tease and things like that. Because if I'm gonna say this thing to the anyone, obviously everyone gonna say that ki like have you ever mind or things like that, like why do you believe in things like that. But at that time, that moment in such a way that such happened, and just we have started believing that, and this scam happened. And yeah, and I like, my parents are kind of like a devastate on me. My friends are kind of like a teasing that ki like you spent 27,000 rupees for the camera and you don't really get and things like that. So when this thing happened, I was like, shit, that's really really shit. Like right now I'm actually thinking, I feel that ki how much shit this happened. But I think that ki life is a learning curve. Okay, yeah, sometimes life kind of like a teaching you a lesson soft way, sometimes life is actually teaching you a lesson or something really hard way. And that is it. Because like basically is this thing na ki if something wrong happened, you are kind of like a bit more aware of every situation that what will gonna happen. So what exactly happened after that? So first of all is that this happened, I went to the police station, I filed the report and things, and that police officer is also kind of like a says this thing that ki why don't you kind of like a somebody why do you trust that guy, like basically there is no way to kind of like find this person and things like that. He just scams you and scams you like that. And basically that scamster is just scams you 20,000 27,000 rupees. Like there are so many people who scams almost like 1 lakh rupees and things like that, even more than that. So I was like, dude, yeah, like it felt little bit failure and things like that. Like even if I kind of like try to put every possible way, but it's not. And I don't know. So when this thing happened, I kind of like a feel devastated. But I realized that it's a learning curve. It's a kind of like a new chapter in my life, and I just have to learn from it. So I learn. What stuff that I learn? First of all, do not believe in any kind of like a something. Like first of all, do not buy anything from OLX. Nah, OLX is a full of scamster. Full of scamster. Like if you wanted to buy the legit camera or buy any kind of like a new, OLX is kind of like a some marketplace where a lot of scams store over there. And basically I will not gonna buy anything OLX. Nah, nothing really at all. Okay, one thing. Another thing is that ki the what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that uh, the I kind of like a something I didn't really believe in scams and things like that. Like basically, this statement is kind of like a something very common to you, but look at the gravity. Means like that. What I'm trying to tell you, okay, yeah, कि you fall in kind of like a something kind of like a you fall in hole. Okay, let's just say like you are walking and suddenly you fall in a hole, or kind of like a somebody someone has to dig the hole and you actually fall in that thing. Because you fall in that particular thing, you realize that how much important is freedom, how much important is this thing. Then you kind of like try to do all the things to kind of like get outside from that hole and things like that. Okay, yeah. And when you get outside now, you kind of like something create a kind of like a protection inside of you, that key in the life or in the future in the path there is gonna see some sort of kind of like a simply hole or things like that. I will gonna jump over that hole, or I will gonna kind of like a simply kind of like a change my path or things like that, because I will not gonna kind of like a fall in that hole again. Okay, and this mentality is actually happen when you actually fall in that hole. What do you mean by that? It means that na ki like a you will not gonna like you always gonna believe in scamster until you unless you actually didn't really get scam. Like when you get scams na, then your brain and everything is kind of like a triggered and says that ki, no, this is wrong, this is wrong. So just don't listen. Just yeah, like basically is this thing. I'm living in India, by the way. Okay, yeah. India is a kind of like a somebody uh, capital of all the scamsters and things like that. Yeah, like basically almost like 100%, there is almost like a 80 to 70% of the scamster is actually from India. Okay, yeah. So I realized that this is really really not good, really really not good. And this thing happened, it just like really fuck up my mind. So I think that now this is kind of like a something the financial mistake. Okay, yeah, like you actually spend some sort of amount of money and you actually regret that thing, and I definitely gonna regret this thing. Like basically there are so many things that I regret, yeah, but like the regret is actually happened regarding about how much money that you spend. Okay, yeah. And this is the 27,000 rupees, that is a like a really big amount of money that I spent, which is kind of like a simply how very big regret, and I kind of like a simply feel that it's a very big financial mistake. Okay, yeah. So since then I kind of like control myself regarding about every possible, like there is so many kind of like a credit card fraud and things and that just like okay, I will kind of like somebody like if someone is actually called me, I just didn't really like there is so many people who call me, buy this policy, buy this healthcare, buy this thing and that, buy this policy. I was like, dude, I will not gonna buy. Like basically is this thing, I have true caller inside of me, inside in my phone. Like when there is a kind of like a scamster, I seen that, I just kind of I didn't pick up the phone, I just kind of like cut the phone, that's it. So yeah. Okay, so basically I think that na ki, and it's not like a happened to me, it's happened to the multiple. Like basically I seen in my surrounding two of my friend is also they got scam. Like one of my friend, they got scam for 50,000 rupees. Also another my friend who's actually got scam for 1 lakh rupees. And compared to them, I got scam for 27,000 rupees. So probably I'm a bit really lucky that I got scam just in 27,000 rupees. And I was like, that is okay. But I got the experience, and regarding about I understand my mistakes, and yeah. But in the future there is kind of like so many things will gonna happen, the opportunities and things like that. I have to be make sure that the money and the kind of like the value that I'm offering should supposed to be good. Like basically I will not gonna afford this kind of like some financial mistake again. But when this financial mistake happened, I feel like really not good. Like all right, this is it, I should supposed to be end here, and thank you.